So, what is this all about now? Why are we down in the workshop? Well, I guess there's a couple of reasons. The other day I got a comment from somebody and he says, "Could you take us down and show us your workshop?" I thought I had done that a few years ago, but maybe that person had not seen that particular video. Anyway, so for that person, well, you're gonna kind of get to see probably 2/3 of it. Anyway, the real reason I'm down here, though, is to help me to make a point. To help me to help you understand how I'm feeling lately. In this box I must have at least 50 pen kits that I could turn. I spent hours and hours and hours down here in this workshop. I changed a light bulb this morning, and I was surprised at just how difficult it was to reach up and unscrew the bulb. Something that I could have almost done in my sleep a few years ago. My clock here was almost always running. I don't know why it stopped. I don't know if I stopped it for some reason or if it stopped all by itself. It sounds okay. I must have stopped it for some reason. I don't know why. Yeah, I spent hours down here. I was down here almost I would say probably 2/3 of the day since I retired, every day. First thing in the morning, usually around 20 minutes after 9, my phone would ring. And it would be my mom in Kelowna to let me know that she was okay. And she would say, "Are you in your workshop?" And I used to say, "Yep." About the case. You notice how junky everything looks around here? It used to be that after I finished a project, I would clean up after myself and get all ready for the next one. I'd even sometimes vacuum the floor. But right now I've got stuff laying around that probably goes back to the big clock project. So it seems that my desire to be down here has changed. Now, like I keep saying, as for the case, I read a comment this morning from one of the viewers that almost made me breathe a sigh of relief. And that was to the effect, do you really think you're going to start a fourth ship or something like that? Like I've been talking about the Yamato and how we should make the case big enough to handle 4 ships. And you know what, that he didn't discourage me. What he did was he sort of brought me to reality. I am looking forward to the hood coming, and I'm thinking we might do the Rodney. But really, do you think I'm in 4 or 5 years from now or whatever? Do you think I'm really going to be wanting to do the Yamato? So I'm kind of giving up on my large case idea that would handle 3 ships and maybe 4. I'm better off just making a single case for the Bismarck. That's my thinking right now. I'm not discouraged, I'm not depressed. I'm recognizing the fact that I am changing. What used to be my life, even back 3 years ago, is not my life anymore. I do not regret having any of this stuff. If I was to sell all this stuff that I've got in my workshop, and then there's a little room on the other end there that you didn't see, that I have a whole bunch of metal working equipment. Like I have a metal lathe, I have a welder, I have a bandsaw, but it's designed for cutting metal, like a power hacksaw. And I have all these wonderful machines in this wonderful workshop. It's probably the nicest workshop, basement home workshop, possibly for miles around. I don't know. Well, no, there's probably other guys do this kind of stuff too. But if I was to sell all these machines and get new price, which of course is impossible, if I could get the new price, I could probably go out and buy a new car. But why? I've got a new car sitting in the driveway. Well, it was new 3 years ago this month. But I hardly ever use it. I don't know how many miles are on it. I'm curious though. I'm going to go out and check and see how many miles are on that car. I just don't use it. I don't need a new car. I'm happy that I'm glad I've got these tools. I have no buyer's remorse for anything here, anything I've got. It's sort of nice to know that it's kind of like a big 4-wheel drive truck in the city with big wheels, the big grip tires, and you could go mud bogging or something with it if you wanted to. The idea, the guys that drive that, they don't really need it, and they know they don't need it, but it's sort of like they like the idea to know that they could if they wanted to. Well, that's sort of the way it is right now with me with all these tools. I did at one time use everything. I have no, like I say, I have no buyer's remorse here. And it is nice to know that if I wanted to, I could come down here and saw something up. I just don't want to anymore. So, about the case, I'm back to the upside down fish tank idea, where all it is big enough to go over top of the Bismarck and keep the dust off. I'm going to keep it simple. And when it comes time to making something for the hood, well, maybe I'll keep it simple for that too. I'm looking forward to the hood coming. I really am. Getting started at it. Still haven't heard anything on the Rodney from Cellar Dweller. He said it might be here the end of this week, which was yesterday. Oh, by the way, happy Father's Day to you fathers. Yeah, it's Father's Day today. Okay, not to be depressing. That's not my intent. And I want to emphasize, I am not depressed and I am not discouraged. I'm not even a little bit disgusted. I'm trying to be realistic. So I think I'm just going to, tomorrow's Monday, get a hold of a place that sells plexiglass and ask them if they can cut it, and maybe they might even glue it together for me, or they can sell me the proper adhesive so I can glue it. I don't know what I'm going to do. But this I'm pretty sure of. I'm not going to be building a large case that will accommodate 3 ships and maybe 4. You know, that clock ticking, I used to get comments. One comment I got just recently, you won't have seen it because it was in a video that I had done several years ago, and the guy said something to the effect of, I really liked the video, but I couldn't watch it because the ticking drove me crazy. I kind of like it. Anyway, yeah, I think I'm just going to leave it run just for old time's sake, and the weights can go down to the bottom. Nothing, it's just going to just stop. It's not going to hurt anything. Anyway, let's go back upstairs and get back on the computer and design a case, and a simple case. Maybe I should have a project just cleaning up the workshop. It'd probably take me a whole day. Anyway, not to be depressing. You know what happened? I got old, and I didn't notice. I got that line from Anne of Green Gables. The series. The old fella, he had a heart attack and he died. And he was telling Anne, I got old and I didn't notice. And that's kind of what's happened to me. Now I'm just sitting here right now editing this out, and I'm thinking to myself, I've been saying how I'm not depressed and I'm not discouraged, but my goodness, this whole thing sounds depressing. And I didn't mean it to be that way. I'm just telling it like it is. Now anyway, later I did go out and I checked the mileage on my car. And I call it mileage, even though it's in kilometers. It was 3,258 kilometers. That's the way they do it here in Canada. I don't know how they do it where you live. But our new cars are the odometer does it in kilometers. But converting it to miles, and I think in miles. I've said this before, I'm old school. I think miles per gallon, that sort of thing. So if we convert that to miles, it's only got 2,024 miles on it. A little over 2,000 miles in 3 years? I mean, my goodness, it's amazing the battery stays up. And probably most of that mileage was put on running to the care home to visit my wife, and she's been gone now for a couple of years. Yeah, so you can imagine about the only thing I'm doing with it is running to the grocery store. Now I know to look at me, you think I run to the grocery store a lot, but actually I don't. I buy in bulk. I go sometimes as little as every third week. Well, that doesn't happen very often, but usually about 10 days I go to the grocery store. Anyway, enough about me. Let's get back to the case, if we can. And this is what I've come up with. We'd have a box with 5 clear sides. Well, I guess it'd be, like I say, an upside-down fish tank, and you'd be looking through the bottom. The bottom of the fish tank would be the top of our box. And it'd be inside dimensions, 51 inches long. It would be 14 inches high. That should clear the top of the mast by quite a bit and allow for a little bit to have the hull up off of the base or whatever it happens to be. And if it was 10.5 wide, that should be enough to accommodate Tony's airplane if it was hanging off the side. Now this would all be inside dimensions. What thickness of plexiglass? I'm going to go by what they recommend. Unless I think they're really taking me down the garden path or something. In the meantime, thanks for watching, and all being well, we'll see you tomorrow.